Hello again everyone and welcome back along to the channel. The Lions are here and it is full on Lions content for you. Be sure to stick around the channel to get your Lions fix as we make our way through the 2017 tour of New Zealand. Today though, we've got another interesting video coming your way. It is a look at the fixtures list and a bit of a predictions video early on as to who I think is going to win. Obviously we'll update these as we go along, as we'll incorporate these along with the SuperBru picks, which, oh hang on a second, you can check out yourself. I do have a SuperBru picks league and I want you to join. Are you in New Zealand? Are you in Australia? Are you in South Africa? Or are you in the United Kingdom? England, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, I don't care where you are, I want to take you on. Your picks versus mine. SuperBru is the place to be. You can catch all the links and the codes to join my league in the description, so be sure to do that. And of course we will be updating these as we go on match by match, heading into the big test matches still a couple of weeks away. But we're going to have a quick look at these games we got coming up, and it all kicks off this weekend even with the Lions up against the New Zealand Provincial Barbarians. Now this one is a team of players who play in the lower level of New Zealand rugby. So you've got the All Blacks, you've got Super Rugby, then you've got the Mitre 10 Cup, which are pretty much where all these guys come from. You could call it third tier, but I do expect, because the Lions have announced their team just a day or so ago, that the Lions will pull this one off quite easily. A lot of youngsters, a lot of up-and-comers in this Provincial Barbarian side, but the Lions have picked a very, very good team. Not their best, but a lot of players who would be first-team starters are in this squad, and I do expect the Lions to put this one to bed relatively easily, relatively quickly. Will make a lot of changes off the bench and give themselves an easy, good blowout to start the tour off on a good foot. So this one's being played at Toll Stadium in Whangarei, and it should be a nice opener for the Lions to start off their tour with a breezy win, get some mud on their pants, get some running in those legs, and almost get a bit of a match-like training session underway. I expect the Lions to blow this one to pieces. I'm picking the margin to be 46 points along the lines of a 60 point to 13 sort of scoreline. That's the first match out of the way. It steps up a gear from there because they make their way down to the fortress that is Eden Park to face the Super Rugby team, the Auckland Blues. Now the Blues are bottom of the New Zealand Conference, of course, if you follow Super Rugby. If not, don't worry, I'll try to lead you on this one as easy as possible. 5th place in New Zealand, but overall on the whole competition ladder, they're not doing that badly. So they would miss out on playoffs if the playoffs were to happen tomorrow. But overall, compared to Australia, compared to half of South Africa, they're going pretty well as well. But I do not expect them to put too much of a challenge up against the Lions. So at this point in time, they're about a week and a half away from the first test match. And you'd expect that any All Blacks in that Blues team would have been whisked out pretty quickly as well. So I don't expect the All Blacks to feature in many, if any, of these matches against the Super Rugby sides. But in saying that, it'll be pretty much a full-strength Blues team that will take on the Lions. We talked about this quite a lot in the Super Rugby preview. If you're new to the channel, you haven't watched that, the Blues have pretty big problems at fly half. I think this is an area where the Lions should look to really attack. They've got 3 world-class fly halves in their team, the Lions, and any one of them should be playing in this one and probably would get a good little run out as well, and a bit of confidence as well heading into this match, where they probably should run rings around that number 10 jumper in the Blues. Now otherwise, outside of that, there'll be a lot of players who'll be pushing for that fringe sort of All Black spot. They got the likes of the Ioane brothers, Luatua as well in there, so a lot of back rowers / outside backs who would be looking to make a name for themselves here against the Lions. But overall, I think the Lions will be far too good here for the Blues, but not as good as the previous match. I expect the Lions to win this one by about 21 points. Again, Blues probably score a couple of worldy tries around the globe, but I expect the Lions to still win this one quite comfortably. I'm looking about 18 points to be the margin, something around the 38 points to 20, as again, the Blues should score a couple of brilliant tries as they always do. They've got some real X-Factor game breakers, but that whole solid factor of the Lions shouldn't make too many errors, and they should put away a pretty mistake-ridden at times Blues team. So third match of the tour, and the Lions are going down to Christchurch AMI Stadium, where they will be facing up against the undefeated in Super Rugby Crusaders. Now we're still about 2 weeks away from the first test match against the All Blacks, so I feel there's going to be a lot of swapping out of players from the first team that played against the Blues will be out, and then you'll get replaced by first teamers that sat out against the Blues. So you're going to get a complete swap around and a mix of those first team guys versus those second team guys in this matchup. Crusaders, of course, 2 weeks out. I expect they will be missing quite a lot of the All Blacks. This is 2 days after the All Blacks team is announced, which will be next weekend, effectively the 10th of June. This is a chance, though, for the Crusaders. Undefeated, and they've got a lot of key players in key positions, but the Crusaders are a team that can bring in no-names and have them perform at that Super Rugby level. George Bridge, I'm looking at you, son, because you've come from nowhere and done what I'm talking about. They've got plenty of players like that, and they've got plenty of guys who aren't at All Black level, but perform at the top of Super Rugby level. And especially in that back line, it's going to depend a lot on selection as well. But will players like Seta Tamani Valu make the All Blacks team? There is a log jam of centres. If he doesn't, he has got a huge chance to perform here against the Lions. Fringe guys for the All Blacks may get released for this matchup as well in the Crusaders jumpers. Richie Mo'unga, he's there or thereabouts, but if he doesn't make selection, which I expect he won't, he's going to be massive as well for the Crusaders. Undefeated all year, but I think the big advantage the Crusaders are going to have in this match is Scott Robinson. Yes, their coach. He's going to be a big difference maker for them. The tactical masterclass of Razor Robinson will be on display here. And I think he's got the tools, the players to do it as well. You may notice you'll miss the key guys like the front row, the Whitelocks possibly, but you'll see the guys like Romano and Bird will definitely be out to really compact that tight five. In the back row, you may miss out on a Todd, but you've still got the likes of a Taufua. You'll lose a Reed, but you'll bring in another guy like Fetu Douglas, who's performed well at Super Rugby level this year. If anything, 2 weeks out from the first Lions test, it won't be the complete team. It'll be a good mixture of players from that top level and that second tier of Lions. I'm giving the Crusaders the win here. I think they're going to go completely undefeated all season and take out the Lions. 3 points is the margin. Crusaders going to do it. I know a lot of Crusaders fans out there will be right behind that. It'll be packed. It'll be buzzing. It'll be a test match like atmosphere as well, which I think this is going to be the best build-up for the Lions in the lead up to the first test as well, playing a team like the Crusaders. 3 points, Crusaders to get the win over the Lions. I expect this one will be a good battle, and I'm looking at a 34-31 scoreline for these two sides. Big tries, big plays, but a huge win for the Crusaders, and quite a damaging loss this could be for the Lions. Fourth game of the tour, they head further down the country. They go down to Dunedin, to Forsyth Bar Stadium, where they face the Highlanders. Now, unlike the Crusaders here, the Highlanders are a team that if they lose these key guys, I think they may fall quite apart. I'm talking the possibilities of Squire or Dixon, probably not both, but one of maybe, and then further out from there, you're looking Aaron Smith, you're looking Lema Sopawanga, you're looking at a Naholo, you're looking at a Ben Smith, those kind of players, Malachi Fikatoa as well, that will dismantle your backline, and the depth just isn't really there for the Highlanders to do the same sort of damage, especially like scrum half. You've got the likes of Matt Faddis will come into that team, Rob Thompson's will do a job, but they're not at that same level that those All Black players are. I think this is going to be a test for the Lions, but I think they would blow this one out quite easily and get a decent win of around 12 points. I'm looking at high 20s, a 28-16 sort of victory over the Highlanders. Okay, so fifth game of the tour now, and we are just 1 week away from the opening test match versus the All Blacks. But it's almost like an All Blacks B team that they're going to be playing here. Squad yet unknown, so it's a bit hard to predict how this one's going to go. The Māori All Blacks will be up against the Lions. Now, this one will be playing at Rotorua International Stadium, so we're back up to the North Island again. Plane flights all over the place for the Lions here. But the Māori All Blacks, what do we expect from them? They can be brilliant, but of course they do lack that cohesiveness of a team that's been together for 2/3 of a Super Rugby season, which the rest of these teams have. I expect the Lions to win this one regardless of the team that the Māori All Blacks put together, because we are 1 week away from the first test match, which that means these guys who are going to be playing that first test match will want a decent run out against a decent opponent as well. So I'm talking about 12, 13 of these frontline Lions players playing a good 60 minutes at least in this matchup. That is going to blow away whatever the Māori All Blacks can put on the field. That is going to be near the top team that's going to be playing, and you'll get probably that group of players, the ones that probably aren't fully decided yet, coming off the bench and bringing in that impact of the substitutes as well. So I'm picking a good win here for the Lions. They should put the Māori All Blacks away, as we like to see from Māori All Blacks. They're passionate, they're committed, but they will fall off the pace as the match wears on, as well as that lack of depth starts to come through into the team. Lions to win this one. I'm picking by a good margin here as well. I'm looking at a 21-pointer. We're looking at about a 45 to 24 sort of thing. That's what I'm looking at for that one. Lions to pick up a good win and get back into that running form of games heading into that first test match. So our next game is against the Chiefs for the Lions. Now this one, of course, is at Waikato Stadium in Hamilton, and it is just 4 days out from the first test match against the All Blacks. So we talked about in the last game how the Lions should pick almost the majority of those guaranteed first teamers to get a good run out and then a week's recovery to get match hardened and fit and get that cohesion going for the side. This one, exact opposite. I expect all those first team guys out, and you'll get a whole wave of that second tier Lions squad to come into this one against the Chiefs. Unfortunately, they're not playing the best team here in the Chiefs, who have been pretty poor form. We're looking at if this was the Hurricanes or if this was the Crusaders, even the Highlanders. No, probably not the Highlanders. I'd probably put them down for a win. But just 4 days out from the first test, the Lions will be playing that second tier. The Chiefs will lose key players that could have changed this game. Not that they have too many, but the X factors. I'm expecting the Damien McKenzie's, the Anton Lienert-Browns to be out of the team. They'll lose that engine room. The Retalix sort of player to be missing from that team. Sam Kane, another one who will definitely be gone at this stage, and that will really weaken an already poor form side. It'll be great for the run-outs. Stephen Donald will get another one, I'm sure, but I expect the Lions to blow this one away. It should be probably a bit of a thrashing as well, unless we see, hang on, what about that Stephen Donald factor? When they played a year ago against Wales and they thrashed him. I'm expecting this one to be close. Stephen Donald to make an impact. Lions by 8. I'm looking 34-26 Lions to just sneak it over the Chiefs. Okay, we're into the big one. It is test match number 1. Lions versus the All Blacks, Eden Park, the fortress of New Zealand rugby. A great place to start this test match series as well, because the first test is so important. If the Lions win this, I think they could go on and win the series, because double hump here. Beating the All Blacks, Eden Park. Not done in years and years, decades even, against the All Blacks. So this is great start time for the Lions. But, like I just said, no one's beaten the All Blacks at Eden Park for decades. This is where the All Blacks will gain the ascension they need. Because they're playing at Eden Park with that record, first test of the season, this is where they're going to set it up as well. This is where it's going to start. They'll go 1-0 up here with the All Blacks, and that will do so much damage to the Lions, and it will put the All Blacks up another step, which will mean it is so much more harder for the Lions to come back. I think this is going to be a cracker of a test match. So probably the closest of all, because this is going to decide everything for these two sides. Test match number 1 is often just as big as test match number 3. It is 0-0, it could be 1-1. So big match coming up. You have your best two sides on the paddock. They'll be training their hearts out. The Lions players would have been resting for a week. They will have no part to do with that match against the Chiefs. I expect that the 23 in this match day squad. The All Blacks, I expect they probably have a bit more rest, because they're in the middle of the Super Rugby season. It's all about cohesion for them and continuity. This one is going to be big. I'm picking the All Blacks to pip it by 11 points. High scorer though, 46-35. All Blacks to take it by just a whisker though, just a whisker. So not much to say about that one, because we're far off from seeing either the All Blacks squad or the condition and performance of the Lions. So that is my early prediction. As I said earlier, I will of course update this as we go. Right, next match. This is in a midweek game between Test Match 1 and 2 up against the Hurricanes. We're going to see a quick shift out of all the Lions first teamers again, and that second tier against the Chiefs will come back into the squad. injuries could be a thing right now. The Lions have played quite a few games against the All Blacks, a couple of key players losing out there. We could see this as an opportunity to gauge a couple of guys as replacements in that starting team if necessary. This will be an important game for the Lions, not as a result, but as a squad building sort of thing, keeping that depth intact, because they need these guys on the same level if they are coming on to the test match atmosphere, because injuries happen. Injuries play a huge part, and if the Lions are 1-0 down, it is even more important that these guys come to that level. Do guys need a bit more fitness? The Hurricanes are where they are going to get it, but the Hurricanes are a team that have a lot of depth in their side, and they have a lot of fringe All Black players, especially in that back line. I mean, former All Black Corey Jane will be there. You'll be looking at the guys like Lamape and Aso, who people have been calling for All Black call-ups all season long. I don't think they're going to get it, but we'll have more on that on my predicted All Blacks squad, which will be coming out very, very soon as well. They'll be playing in that one. Fly half, there's still got the likes of an Rotadews Black who will be sitting in there as well. So it'll be a good pack. Talking about the likes of Brad Shields, we're talking plenty of depth in that front row. You know, the likes of Chris Eves will still be there. Tumunga Allen will still be around there as well. Will still be a good Super Rugby side. And I think they're going to get the victory over the Lions. Just a slender margin. I'm picking it by 6 points this one. It should be a good high scorer as well. 39-33 Hurricanes to get the win over the Lions. This won't care for the Lions at all. They won't give two cares at all if they lose this matchup, because it's all about squad building, squad fitness, getting back on level pegging against the All Blacks in the second test, which is on the 1st of July, and that one is at Westpac Stadium in Wellington. Now, not the fortress that Eden Park is by any stretch of the imagination, but already a test match down at this point. The Lions, I'm predicting this is going to become desperate. It's going to become do or die. They're going to throw everything at it, and it could change the game. This is where 50-50 chances are going to decide the game. There's a good chance the Lions could win this one, but I'm predicting that things may just start to fall apart a little bit for them, and the All Blacks will blow this one out quite comprehensively to end the series at 2-0. But the Lions, they're not a team that like being desperate. They are a team that like to control. If they don't get that control right from the start, things can get a bit messy. That is the Northern Hemisphere style of play that they normally like to see. Coming back is not really their thing. The All Blacks are great closers of a matchup, and the start is going to be also important for all three of these test matches, but more so for this one if the Lions do not get it. I think the All Blacks are going to pound this one away quite comprehensively in the end and win it by 26 points. Scoreline of 38 points to 12. It's going to be a dark, dark day for the Lions here in the second test match. Promising so much, but falling oh so short. Of course, there is still the one match still to go, and that is the third and final test match versus the All Blacks. Now, 2-0 down, the series has already been and gone. I know a lot of you are already writing pretty ragey comments in the comment section down below right now because you don't agree with my picks, but this is very early season. Let's get a couple games into it and we can reevaluate what's going to happen. Of course, injuries change so much. The All Blacks could lose a couple of key players, which will completely change my mind about all of these fixtures, so don't get too angry just yet. Third test match, Lions, they've lost all kind of hope and desperation of picking up a series win. Now it is all anger, it's frustration, and they've got no pressure because they've already lost this series. This one's going to be close. This one is going to be a one-pointer. 1 point win, I think the All Blacks are going to sweep it. It's just 1 point in it. It's going to be a close one. 19-18, the All Blacks to win it at the depths, with the Lions coming back late on to just about steal it, but coming just short. It is, of course, back in Eden Park, the Fortress. This is a great game for the third test. It could be 1-1 at this point, and this is where the people who picked the places for this game, these games, are very clever, because they know the All Blacks are so much tougher to beat at Eden Park. That's where it makes a difference. Test 1 and Test 3 could be the biggest of the series. If the Lions are going to win any, I think it's going to be the third, primarily because it could be all over, or it could be on the line. Could they win the series here at this point? I'm picking a no, because full strength teams, I think the All Blacks have just an advantage, but I'm picking 2 out of the 3 to be extremely, extremely close. 1 point, 1918, All Blacks to win 3-0, but not like it was back in 2005. Dan Carter was amazing there, but will we see the rebirth of another amazing All Blacks number 10 in Beauden Barrett continue his meteoric rise to rugby legacy? It is all to be decided over the next month and a bit. The Lions tour in New Zealand is going to be massive. These are my early thought predictions. Don't read anything into this. This is just off the cuff what I think could possibly happen. Yes, I have gone very kindly towards the New Zealand teams and the Super Rugby teams. I know that, but it is just an early season prediction because what I want from you is your predictions. And I know that because I've gone so one-sided to the All Blacks and the Super Rugby teams, you are going to be severely pissed off and you're going to give me exactly what you think. What do you think? Leave in the comments, join the SuperBru League and have your say. I want to know exactly what you think is going to be happening. I honestly do think it will be 2-1 in the end of the day, but given the way the fixtures go, given the way some injuries could happen, and given the way that the All Blacks seem to just lift another gear when required, I'm going to go with 3-0 heart over head. That is what it is all about. And it's going to be a great series. Regardless of that, I do welcome every single Lions fan who is in the country. Welcome to our beautiful land. I hope you enjoy your tour and I hope your team has a great time here in the country. I hope it is a great series as well, full of twists and turns and joys and heartbreak for everyone, but it should be a great time of rugby. Let me know your thoughts, okay? I know you're all angry and annoyed if you're from the Northern Hemisphere, but I want to know what you think. So get involved, join that SuperBru League, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But until next time, we'll be having a look at the All Blacks squad, my predicted All Blacks squad, about a week out before it is named. And I'll see you all there for all the other Lions content as well. Let me know your thoughts on it. And until next time, take care.